Over the last couple years, one of my favorite bags has become the Gamut made by Vertx. This bag and the features that it offers have just filled every single roll for me, checked every single box. And even though I own a ton of different bags from a ton of different companies, I always seem to come back to the Gamut for the do-all everyday carry. Doesn't matter if I'm going to the mall, grocery store, hiking, hunting, or just back and forth to the office bag. This thing has just filled every roll extremely well, and because of that, I wanted to shoot a video, give you an overview of this bag, some of the new features that this 2.0 has, and show you how I have it loaded up. Let's get into this video. As I said right there at the intro, this is the Gamut 2.0, and the color scheme for this one is the canopy green and grizzly shade colors. This is actually my favorite color scheme. But before I dive into first the specs, then some features of this bag and why I love it, and then kind of my own loadout, I just wanted to fully disclose how I got my hands on this bag. I have become friends with the folks over at Vertx, and they did send this one to me for free. This was a gift that was sent. There's no strings attached. They didn't say, hey, you have to do a review. You have to do these things. I'm doing a review on my own will because I believe this bag has a lot of use for a lot of you. There's no money exchanged. They didn't pay me, no contracts or anything. I became friends with these folks at Vertx over the last couple years. We've done industry events together. We have done marketing initiatives together between TA Targets and Vertx. And because of that, I really like the company. I like the people behind the company. And I can tell you from my own personal experience, because I've been purchasing Vertx bags for the past 4 to 5 years myself, they make a very high quality product. And because I have experience with so many different bags, and I have purchased these and put my own money into these bags over the last couple years, I feel like I'm able to give an unbiased review and kind of point out the highlights and why I really love this bag, without allowing the fact that they sent this to me to kind of muddy that water. So I just want to disclose that for you guys, fully get that out on the table and let you know they did send this bag to me. Enough of that stuff, let's dive into the specs. The Vertx Gamut 2.0 is every gray man's dream of the perfect EDC bag to carry all of their gear and essential items with them every single day. Durable fabric, extensive stitching, extremely high quality zippers, and a plethora of color options means that this bag will fit into everyone's arsenal. Some of the basic specs of this bag are: the inside dimensions of the main compartment are approximately 20.5 inches high, 11.5 inches wide, and 7.5 inches deep. This means that main compartment has about 20 inches clear, which means that if you want to carry an SBR or an AR pistol or something like that, you have plenty of room for various barrel lengths on those platforms. The very back of the bag is 3D molded and has the Vertx logo in foam, and that not only adds to the comfort of the bag, but it allows extra airflow on your back as you're carrying your bag in hotter weather. The shoulder straps are extremely durable and they are going to last. They're padded really well, which means there's extra comfort for you as you are traversing terrain or just going back and forth on errands. There's also a strap to go across your chest and your lower waist to help distribute the load. These bags are hydration compatible and armor compatible. You can fit ballistic panels inside of this bag from companies like Defender Armor. The bag is extremely well laid out, and there's lots of different compartments and pockets and different places to put your gear. And there's lots of secret places to put things too, and clasps and clamps and little things that have been added to the bag to add extra versatility and extra security to your bag so nobody can just access it while it's on your back. The Gamut 2.0 is a bag that's extremely well laid out, it's extremely versatile, and it's ready to tackle any adventure that anyone throws at it. And it's gonna serve you well no matter if you are going back and forth, like I said, to the grocery store, or actually going out on adventures, hiking, camping, things like that. This bag fills those roles extremely well. Before I dive into my personal loadout of this bag, I wanted to just give you guys a couple reasons of why I really love Vertx bags based on my own experiences that I've had over the last 3, 4, 5 years, however long I've been carrying with Vertx bags. One of the main reasons I really love Vertx bags is the fact that as soon as you pick up a Vertx bag, you can tell that it's high quality materials. They don't feel cheap, it doesn't feel thin. It's got some weight to it even without anything inside of the bag. They use extremely heavy duty zippers, extremely redundant stitching, heavy duty stitching that's gonna keep everything together. In all of those years carrying, even with my original Gamut bag that I have, this has years of hunting and hiking, and there's been SBRs with barrels just shoved into the bottom, all kinds of stuff. I've had 0 failures. Not a single stitch has come apart or failed on any of my Vertx bags, from my EDC transit sling to my EDC ready packs, and I have 2 of those. I have 2 of the other Gamuts. I have 1 of the 2.0s. I've got the range bag. I've bought a ton of bags from Vertx, and they've sent me other stuff. No failures on any of the bags whatsoever. That's impressive. Out of all of the bags in the industry, I would say Vertx probably makes the most discreet bags, so that's another reason why I really enjoy Vertx bags. I don't like bags that have a ton of MOLLE webbing on the outside or are just all black usually, or, you know, I kind of prefer having the different colors, stuff that blends in with normal life. I feel like this bag with the canopy green and the grizzly shade really blends in with normal life. It works for hunting and things like that. The other thing that Vertx does really well with all of their bags is effective separation of all the compartments. And what that means is they have laid out each compartment in a way that allows you to fill each compartment specifically without overflowing into another compartment. And that's very important to me. I don't like bags that you open up and it's just, hey, there's one big compartment here and you just kind of throw your crap in it and you go. I've had tons of bags like that. I really like that Vertx has separation. That's a huge checkpoint, and every single one of their bags does. You can tell that people on their team are employed to really think through these bags and how they're going to be laid out. And I kind of touched on it a little bit, and it's not that I'm trying to be fashionable, but I'm trying to blend in. And part of that is having bags that blend in with current fashion trends and things that look normal, whether you're out, again, driving around getting groceries, run around with your kids, whatever you're doing, you want to blend in if you have a carbine with you most of the time. And oftentimes I'm carrying an SBR with me. I don't want people to look at me and say, that dude's got a bag, I bet you he's got a rifle. No, I kind of hang a little kid toy off my bag. I'm walking around with my toddlers and they probably think it's just an oversized diaper bag because I have 4 kids. That's what I want people to think. I don't want them to think, oh, that dude's probably got a gun. So these are all reasons why I fell in love with Vertx from day one, and why, yes, I do use a ton of different bag companies, and there's a lot of really good bag companies out there, and I've done some reviews for those companies. When it comes down to it, Vertx just checks every single box off perfectly. So that's a quick rundown of why I really love what Vertx does in general. Let's dive into how I had this loaded out. I'm gonna start on the outside, and we're just gonna work pocket to pocket. And I will admit, this bag is not a full loadout. This is set up in a way that I currently use going back and forth to the marketing office and back and forth to the range. So let's dive into it. The front compartment is where I keep medical components, and I'm just gonna open this up real quick, and I'm gonna try to cover every single detail of this bag as I go, and I hope I don't miss anything because there are so many features of this bag. So the front compartment I'm referring to is right here, and the way I normally have this set up is I have medical equipment in here, and I have it set up so I can just quick pull and it's going to open right up, and I'll have access to my medical gear. If you don't want it set up like that, there are also the option to use these buttons. There's little leather straps here with buttons on them, and you can actually clip the zippers into the upward position, which would effectively secure them from anybody else accessing the inside of your bag while it's on your back. So pulling this open, you're gonna see that I have my medical gear in the MOLLE webbing. I keep chest seals, some rapid ribbon in there. And if you watch my 3V gear bag, you're gonna notice that the medical looks identical, and there's a very specific reason for that, because it is. I transfer my medical between my bags, and I have a couple duplicate sets of the exact same medical, exact same setup, so that we can have multiple bags ready to go at any given time. Anyway, diving back into the medical. So I always keep some scissors with me in the MOLLE webbing. I keep 2 Gen 7 cat tourniquets. There's not really a specific reason for why I have an orange one. Originally, I was gonna use this one as a trainer, but I have a black one that I use as a trainer. So again, 2 Gen 7 cat tourniquets, I always keep them with me. Then I have this little guy, which I've talked about before, that was made originally by Lunar Concepts. And I just keep a bunch of medical stuff that you can just pull out. It's just a Velcro strap. And I have duct tape, Band-Aids, some other stuff that I would, I don't really want separate floating around the bottom of my bag. I keep that in this little pouch. One of the other features of this front pouch is they do have these G clamps, and they're just shaped like a G, which I'm assuming is why they call them that. And on the sides of the bag, up over here, there's these little hoops, and you can actually hook these G clamps into those hoops, and that's going to give you the ability to put a jacket or a helmet or something like that in this bag if you would like to. I don't ever use it like that, and I had to actually ask them what these G hooks were used for, because I haven't personally found a need for them. Once they told me about that, I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. That actually serves a pretty legit purpose, and again shows that there's lots of these secret little features that they include in this bag that you may not notice right away, but as you start using the bag, you're like, oh, that's why they're doing that. One of the other things that they have in this front compartment is a secret pocket, and it's going to be hard for me to show. Hopefully you can see it from the overhead view, but it's a full-length pocket on the inside of this front pouch, and that is going to allow you to put anything from passports or important documents, stuff that you really cannot get wet and you do not want somebody to be able to steal. That's a great place to put them. And again, as you can see on the front of this pouch, there's plenty of MOLLE webbing. Some of the MOLLE is also Velcro, so if you wanted to stick some patches or you wanted to stick something else in here, maybe some extra magazines with some Velcro pouches, you could do that as well. Plenty of space here to do a lot of different stuff with. But it works really good for me with my medical because anybody can access it that knows about it. When it's on my back or whether I lay it down to get to it, it doesn't really matter. So let's continue on with the other pouches. Directly above that pouch where my medical is located is just a normal zippered pouch, and there's nothing special about this one at all. I normally just keep my phone charger in there. There is a little lanyard thing, and I've used that a ton when I'm traveling for my keys because I tend to just kind of throw my keys in a bag loose, and I lose them all the time. Technically I didn't lose them, they're in my bag, but I have to dig around my whole bag to figure out where they're at. On each side of the bag, there are pretty awesome little pockets, and I love these. What you'll notice on the outside, because this is in my range setup, I keep my silencer co-suppressor in that bag. And on this side, there's just kind of this mesh pocket that you could throw, again, just some random assortment of things. There's just a little stretchy pocket here, so I've done everything from phone cords to extra medical to you name it, I've put it in this pocket. I normally leave these pockets open because I want space for overflow items. And what I mean by that is if I've purchased something or maybe I have to add something to my kit that I wasn't expecting, I like having them open. On the opposite side, I keep a spare 30 round magazine for my 300 blackout. We'll dive into why I do that. And one thing I want to say is if I'm out at the mall or I'm being discreet, of course I don't have a magazine wide open in this water bottle pouch. I don't keep my suppressor in the other side water bottle pouch. It's only when I'm going back and forth to work and I don't really care about being discreet. I have other spots where I will put that if I need to be discreet, like just simply sticking it inside these pouches. I can fit my suppressor and I can fit my magazine hidden if I need to. So on this side, the pouch is very similar. I usually keep some pens in this, another little mesh pocket that you can use for whatever you want. And like I said, I always have an extra phone cord and I have a battery pack. So that's a fairly standard item that you'll find in any of my bags. I keep pens on me just simply because I'm always in meetings, I'm always doing stuff, jotting down ideas, and I always have my notebook with me. So yeah, I like to keep those on hand at all times. One of the coolest parts about these side pockets that I'm talking about is the fact that they're oriented in a way that when they open up away from your body. And what that means is if someone's walking behind you and they unzip this, it's going to be a little bit harder for them to steal your stuff or get into this pouch. Not impossible, but they did this in a way that's kind of keeping things discreet. Makes it a little more difficult for someone just to swipe your stuff, or at least it's a little more difficult for them to see what's in the pocket as they're trying to steal stuff from you. And hopefully by that point you felt, hey, someone's messing with my bag and they need to stop. Moving on to my favorite compartment, that's what I'm going to call the main compartment. And for most people, they would probably use this for a laptop or maybe their medical or some extra stuff. But I use this to house my SBR, and let's talk about it. So on this bag, it's really neat. They have these little buttons that clamp the zipper. So I normally keep them buttoned, and that allows me to open the bag to a certain point, but not unzip it too far. If you don't care about that or you need to open this bag all the way, it is a 180-degree open bag. So right there you can see how my 7.5-inch SBR is housed in here. And although the basic premise of this video is not about my 300 blackout, I thought it would be a good visualization to show people what a 7.5-inch 300 blackout looks like in the Gamut 2.0. My rifle overall length with the Silencer Co. ASR brake and my Enforce light is approximately 17 inches with the 7.5-inch barrel, and that's with a law folder. If you use a different folding mechanism, it might add some extra length, but I still have about 3 to 4 inches of clear space in this bag. And what that means is you can easily fit a 10.5-inch 5.56 or 300 blackout in this bag, and I have squeezed an 11.5 inside of this bag. It does get a little bit tight depending on what muzzle device you have and what folder you're operating with. If you're running a Deadfoot Arms folder, there's a little bit more beef there behind it, and you may not be able to fit as long of a barrel, but there is plenty of space. You can tell that I could actually use a 30-round magazine if I wanted to. I tend to just use the Lancer 20-round mag because it works really well for what I'm doing. And I also sometimes carry this 300 blackout in my EDC Ready pack, which is a little bit more compact than the Gamut 2.0. And for that reason, I don't really want to get used to carrying this with the 30-round mag in it. I just like having a setup that I can switch back and forth. Let's get this out of the way and continue onward. So inside of this compartment, there's also the separator. You could use that for your laptop or anything else that has value that you don't want to get smashed up. Sometimes I'll throw my iPad in there. You could throw ballistic plates in there. There's other spots to do that as well. You can put a hydration pack in there, and there are openings on both sides of the bag for the lines to go out at the top. So this is hydration compatible, like I said, lots of options there, tons of space, and you can use this for clothing if you're traveling or whatever. I've put a full 2 to 3 days worth of clothes in this backpack with my lenses and used this as a travel bag more than once, probably 3 or 4 times as I've been going back and forth to shows. On the top of this compartment, you'll notice that there's a couple different pockets. There's this little guy, which I'm going to talk about in a second. We'll dive into that. You can put pens or whatever else you want to put up here. Each of these compartments has this kind of see-through mesh, and again, they're pretty much just a general use pocket. They're on the inside of the bag. They are secure, so if you wanted to put passports, wallets, things like that, stuff that you really don't want someone to have access to, here's another great spot for that. They are breathable. I don't know if that matters for what you're carrying, but that's a great option. I briefly talked about this little guy here, this little strap. They call that the rapid release strap or tab. It might be rapid release tab. Check their website for that, but I'll show you how this works. So what you can do if you're carrying an SBR in this main compartment, you can actually take this little strap, and there's a piece of Velcro right here, and you can hook it just like that. And you keep your zippers kind of down, you leave the top open. And what that's going to allow you to do is just with a swift grab, pull and open it up. So that's just, again, a quick way to gain access to your firearm or whatever else you might be carrying in that bag. And maybe it's not an SBR, maybe it is medical and you just need to have it. Maybe you're a professional and you deal with medical cases or something and you want a discreet bag. Having the ability to just kind of give it a tug and pull it open is really nice, and it's really well thought out. This black divider on the 2.0 does also come out. As you can tell, it's just Velcroed in there. It's wrapped around this flap, so if you didn't want that in, you could pull it out. I've left it in there and I've not had any issues. It doesn't take up any space when it's getting pushed down, so it's up to you. You can pull it out if you feel like you need to. So that's it for what I'll call the main compartment. Let's go back to the back of this bag, and I'm going to show you that 3D molded padding on the back, and then also what I'm going to consider my discreet compartment. So what you'll notice is this big tab. This is kind of a signature of all Vertx products. You'll see this on every single one of their bags. This is their rapid pull tab, and what this does is gives you something big to grab onto and open your bag quickly, and you can position this in the bag wherever you need it to be. A lot of people in this compartment will carry a sidearm, and I'll show you because I left the factory little graphic thing here. I'll show you what that looks like. Now in this compartment, I normally keep my paperwork. I keep copies of my federal firearms license because I'm a licensed dealer. I travel with that stuff, tax stamps, anything like that that I feel like I need to travel with. I have a folder in here at all times, and that's kind of what I have devoted this compartment of the bag for. But if you look right here, you'll see this little graphic. This is just a little pamphlet that they throw in with the bag, and I left it here for the video. They have something called tactile origami, and they're little holsters and magazine holders that allow you to put a firearm inside of this compartment, but they're Velcro backed so that it's going to latch onto this material and it's going to stay in place. So that's what a lot of people do with this compartment. I personally don't do that because I just carry on body, and I've devoted my personal bags to concealed carrying of a carbine, but that's what you could also do with this particular section of your bag if you would like to. You are able to stick this thing over top of carry-on or things like that. It's designed to handle all of that stuff. It does have the waist strap, like I said, and what you'll notice is these straps are extremely beefy. Just looking at how they attach to the top, you can tell that they're not going to fall apart anytime soon. And they're very thick, and it's going to be hard for me to show that in the video, but they're extremely thick and extremely well padded. So I've never had any discomfort issues with this bag. They do have quick release buckles on the straps if you needed to drop the straps really quickly. They have the chest strap here to distribute the load, and lots of different hoops and loops to attach different stuff to. And you can run down your hydration bladder down your strap and kind of hook it in. There's so many options for how you could run this bag. There has been a ton of work in the design of this bag, and you can tell when you look at the layout, the materials they used, how they've used the materials, just the little details like this, these leather little accents, and I don't know if they're real leather, fake leather, doesn't really matter. They look really good and they're holding up really well. One little thing I did forget to mention is there is a pull tab on the back of the bag here. Pretty much every backpack has something like that, but this is really beefy. It's really sewn in there really well, and I don't think that it's gonna fall apart anytime soon. And considering I keep all of this stuff in my bag does weigh pretty much. So that pretty much covers up how I use the Gamut 2.0, how I've integrated it into my EDC, and how I carry it. And hopefully me showing you how I'm using the bag and going over the features kind of gives you an idea of what you could use this bag for. Normally in a video, I'm going to break down who a product is for, who a product is not for. And really the only thing that I would say about Vertx bags is they come at a price, and you're paying a price for a premium product. So this bag is a little more than $200 right now at the time of making this video. That could change over time, but just know at the time of making this video, it's around $200 to $214 on their website. So it is more expensive than other brands out there, but what you're getting is a very high-end, very high-quality, fashionable product that's very discreet. And because of that, I think it's worth spending the money on Vertx products. Then I typically would say something like, who is this bag not for? So I guess to answer that question, this bag is not for someone if you're on an extremely tight budget. The other person this bag is not for is a person who likes to buy tons of different colors and tons of different options. They'll buy every option of everything, because what's going to happen is you're going to buy a ton of Vertx bags, which is actually a really good thing. But if you're kind of a spender, they keep coming out with new colors and new designs, and it's going to make you want to buy the newest bag. So maybe they're not for you. Kind of joking, but kind of not. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was helpful for you. Please leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think about this bag. Let me know what you think about Vertx in general. Let me know how you're carrying your bag and how you have it set up. Also, shoot me some ideas in the comment section below and let me know what kind of videos you'd like to see. I really do appreciate you guys. Stay well, stay safe. I will see you in the next video.